All right, appreciate everybody being on. Looking back at the video, great night last week. Like I talked about after the game, unbelievable energy from our fans from start to finish. Appreciate them. Great win for us. Happy for our players and the joy that they had out there on the field last night. Really pleased, even more so today after watching the video of our defense and the way they played, just getting lined up, executing, tackling really well, playing physical, creating turnovers. That was fantastic to see. Special teams thought we punted the ball well and covered well for the most part. Certainly some things to clean up. Being able to block 2 punts was anytime you score on defense and block a punt, you're probably going to win 100% of the time, and we scored on defense and blocked a couple, so that was great to see. And then offensively, I thought we got better as the game. Thought Zeb played really well. Eastern Illinois was, bringing a lot of pressure and bringing in some movement up front that we needed to get a handle on early, and I think our guys did and settled down and got better as the game went on. We, certainly all of us, coaches included, got to be a whole lot better this week against East Carolina. But anytime you can win, have a shutout, and still have a ton of things to correct and improve upon, that's like the ideal recipe for a opening game, and we got it. Got to be a whole lot better just from an execution standpoint on offense. Still had some formations that we didn't get lined up correctly, whether it be wide receiver, tight end splits, or the actual formation. Got to be better on our communication from that standpoint, getting in the right play. That's coaches, players, all of us. The penalties were very disappointing. Looking back at the video today, some of them were even dumber than they first looked like on live when it happened last night, and that's something we spent a lot of time on and got to get corrected. The one punt return, we had a hold, we had a block in the back, we had a blindside block, and those are all the things that we have to be a whole lot better with that. And then offensively, really have to be much improved with our perimeter blocking. Our wide receivers and tight ends blocking in space for our running backs and wide receivers on bubble screens and things like that, and in the run game. And I didn't think we were as physical out there as we needed to be. But overall, great night, exciting win, happy for our fans, happy for our players, and back to work. Just got off the practice field here a few minutes ago. Injury-wise, came out pretty good, nothing significant from last night. We're good from that standpoint. Luke Doty was at practice tonight, didn't really do much, but have every belief that he'll be available Saturday for us. Kevin Harris was at practice and should be full speed this week as well. So other than a couple of the, little bit longer-term guys that I've talked about before, we'll be pretty healthy. And then award winners, players of the game from last night, Zaquandre White was our offensive player of the game. Thought he played fantastic, played hard, played physical. Love what that kid's about, and love how much passion he plays with. Defensively, we chose Jalen Foster as our defensive player of the game. Did a great job back there in the secondary, getting guys lined up, playing physical. Had turnovers. Really solid night for Jalen, and happy for him. Special teams wise, each week we kind of break it down a little bit in some different categories. So each week we'll probably have 3 for you. But that was Debo Williams, Darius Rush, and Matthew Bailey. Bailey did a nice job snapping for us all night. Debo was involved with the punt blocks, obviously. And then Darius Rush, just the speed that he played with out there as a gunner on our punt team. Our scout team players of the week were offensively Rico Powers, defensively Hot Rod Fitton, and special teams-wise Jesse Sanders. So I'm proud or honored to award those guys with that this week. Had a good team meeting, went through a lot that we got to be better at, and building on the things we did well. Excited to get to Greenville this week. Obviously, place I've been many a time, and one of the toughest places to play that I've been at as a coach, and I know it'll be rocking and a great atmosphere up there on Saturday, and we need to have a heck of a week of practice to go up there and play well on Saturday afternoon. So with that, I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Hey, Shane, it's Dave. Looking at your quarterback situation this week, I mean, when Luke is fully healthy, how does this go? Is this going to be a fully open competition? Does Luke get credit for what he did in the past? I mean, how will this go choosing between him, Zeb, or anybody else for Saturday?
We'll see. I'm not going to get into naming who our quarterback is before we get up to East Carolina on Saturday. We'll see how the practice goes. Again, I'm not putting Luke Doty out there before he is ready, and before he's ready and healthy. And, you know, we just got off the field. We're getting into our East Carolina prep here tonight and tomorrow, and getting ready for practice on Tuesday, and we'll see how the week goes.
Shane, this is Ben. Just to clarify, did you say you don't plan to name a starter before Saturday at quarterback?
Don't know why I would. I'm sure Coach Houston would love that, and he knows. I mean, he's got to get ready for Decarion Joyner, and they've got to get ready for Luke Doty and Zeb, and you know, we do a lot of different things offensively. So no. And guys, I'm not going to come in there on Tuesday and tell you who the starting quarterback is. So you don't need to waste time answering questions about who the quarterback is going to be and what the reps look like, because I'm not getting into it. So sorry. That's where we are.
Hey, Shane, this is Richard Breen from Columbia Metropolitan. I know you just mentioned Zaquandre, and I wanted to ask you to elaborate on him a little bit, because I'm thinking back to last year when he was playing all over the field with all the attrition at the end of the year, and even last night when he was leading the team in rushing, he was still a gunner on punt coverage. And his role's going to change a little bit when Kevin Harris comes back. You know, is he kind of one of the unsung heroes on the team?
Yeah, I absolutely believe he is, and just because Kevin Harris comes back doesn't mean that all of a sudden Zaquandre White is going to not be running the football anymore. I don't know if you guys had a chance to see him carry the ball last night. He's a stud when he has the ball in his hands, and we're going to continue to get him the ball. But I love what he's about. He loves to compete. I love the energy that he plays with. You're exactly right. It's great that you noticed that. He's covering punts. He's on the kickoff return team. He's on the punt return team. He does not want to come off the field. And a lot of guys, they get tired. Their body language changes. Not him. He never gets tired. His body language never changes. He's very grateful for the opportunity to play here. He's very grateful for the opportunities he's been given, and really happy that he was able to have some success last night.
Shane, this is Corey. And a follow-up question for Quan. You know, interesting enough, I think he signed out of high school at Florida State to be a running back, and during his stint there, they switched him over to linebacker. Are there any traits of the linebacker spot that helps a kid as a running back?
Yeah, good question. Certainly, I think the physicality of playing linebacker certainly helps the physicality he plays with at running back. You know, when you're playing linebacker, you've got to be a downhill, quick twitch, explosive guy to be a great linebacker, and I see those qualities in him. Very quick twitch, very explosive at running back, and then I think anytime you play on the other side of the ball, I mean, it helped me as a coach, coaching offense and defense, because I had a familiarity with both sides of the ball and what the other side was trying to do to the side that I was on. And I don't know if he would. I mean, I'm sure he gained something maybe from seeing how linebackers see things that helps him as a running back also.
Hey, Shane, Patrick Johnson, 94.3 The Game in Greenville. I don't know how far you are into your ECU prep and study, but what about East Carolina sort of stands out, if anything, so far, what you've looked into? And were you able to maybe watch the game a little bit on Thursday night against App State?
No, I wasn't. I had my radio show on Thursday night, and my parents were in town, so we're still renovating a house that we haven't gotten into. So we took my parents over there to show them the house, and we're living in a little rental house right now that I tried like heck to find the game on television, and they didn't have the I think it was on ESPNU, if I'm not mistaken, somehow or another. It wasn't on. We didn't have ESPNU. Now, I know there's different ways on your phone and things like that you can watch stuff. I'm not that technologically down on stuff. But I got home and put kids to bed and didn't get a chance to see it. I've watched just a little bit today. We meet with our players on Sunday afternoon and then recap our previous game and then go out on the field for an hour. So I literally just sat down, and we're going to jump into it as soon as I get off the call with you. But first of all, I have a ton of respect for Mike Houston, and I don't really know him personally, but what he's done at the places he's been speaks for itself. He's won everywhere that he's been, and Ruffin McNeil and Lincoln Riley are two of my closest friends in the entire world, and I know what they did at East Carolina, and I know the pride that East Carolina has in that football program. I've been going up against them ever since I was a sixth grader or fifth grader when my dad went to Virginia Tech. I know the atmosphere in Greenville. I've been down there and like NC State and like North Carolina and us at Virginia Tech. I know what a challenging place it is to play because all three of those teams have gone in there and gotten beat. Not as familiar with some of their personnel, but very familiar with a lot of them. Holton, we tried to recruit when I was at Georgia, Holton Ahlers, and really liked him. I mean, the year that we were recruiting Justin Fields at Georgia, the other quarterback that we liked was Holton if we didn't get Justin. And he's a fantastic football player and have followed his career and have a ton of respect for him. Ryan Jones was with me, so familiar with Ryan. So got an understanding. C.J. Johnson, I remember seeing C.J. when we were recruiting Holton and watching them there in Greenville. So program that I have a lot of respect for. We have a lot of respect for Coach Houston and his staff, and we're fully aware of what a challenge it'll be Saturday.
Hey, Shane, it's Dave again. You mentioned some of the run game issues in your opening statement there. What do you think was the biggest problem after watching the film towards sealing those edges and then getting a real push going north-south, at least in the first half?
I think it's a combination. Some of it was offensive linemen with their movement and some of their twists up front, not getting the movement that we wanted up front. There's no excuse, but that was part of it. A lot of it was a combination of everything. Offensive line, a lot of it was tight end related. Our hat placement not being where it needed to be, our leverage and pad level not being where it needed to be. A lot of it was wide receiver blocking. That there may have been a play where they were supposed to be in there digging out a safety or cracking a linebacker or whatever it was, and didn't get it done. And then some of it was on the backs too. I mean, they'll tell you there were certainly some runs that were out there that they misread and maybe bounced the ball when they didn't need to, or crammed it up inside when they needed to bounce it. And a lot of that will come with experience and things like that. So it was a combination of everything. I know it's easy when you don't run the ball as well as you would like to sit there and always point at the offensive line, but we all had a hand in it. Coaches with some of the calls, that we'd like to have back, and then the players out there on the field. But we'll be better. We got to put together a great plan for Saturday, and confident that we will. But we did a lot of good things there as well. Also, I thought our sense of urgency and body language and things like that improved as the game went on, and had a nice 2-minute drive before the half where we used our timeouts and were able to get the ball back for the offense to score. We were able to finish the game out and running the clock out when we were out there on offense and not having to punt. So a lot of things to build upon, but we just got to get better at the details of each and every play and being better from that standpoint.
Hey, Shane, hey, it's Augusta. I wanted to ask you about Marshawn Lloyd. Just kind of what did you see from him yesterday night, and how was he feeling, finally getting to play last night after recovering from the ACL last year?
I think he was really excited, had a big smile on his face all night, and thought he had some nice runs. I mean, the couple that he would like to have back that, he bounced and probably should have crammed up in. I thought he looked quick. I thought he looked fast. I thought he looked explosive, and I think he'll continue to get better week in, week out as he gains experience and continues to knock that rust off.
Hey, Shane, it's Hale. I'm going to try again. I was just curious, what do Sunday practices look like for you guys? What's sort of your overall philosophy and structure with those?
Of the what practices? I'm sorry.
Your Sunday practices, what's sort
of overall? No, it's very light. We don't do a whole lot on on Sundays, most of our time is spent in meetings, and then our players lift, and a lot of it is just trying to learn from yesterday and then physically, get our bodies well after last night. And we're on the field for less than an hour. We go out there for about 45 minutes and have a special teams period for about 8 minutes. We do some individual work, just position-wise. We get together kind of offense versus our offense separately than the defense, just to maybe go through corrections from last night or introduce some things on our upcoming opponent. And we do a 7-on-7 against each other to get some work in the passing game, and then we always do a 2-minute situation against the defense, offense versus defense, first group versus first group, just to work some 2 minutes. So we're out there in just helmets and nothing else, and we're out there for less than an hour. And then it's a good opportunity too for us, Hale, to keep some of our young guys out there. Obviously during the week, we're full speed ahead on opponents, and a lot of these younger guys are working on the scout team and things like that. So Sunday nights we're able to keep the younger guys out there a little bit longer, where our position coaches can work with some younger guys that need some extra work, TJ Sanders and Nick Barrett on the defensive line, for example, just to continue to develop them and help them get better, because we're gonna need them all before the year's out.
Shane, Ben again, just quickly, when you look back at Zeb's performance last night, I guess what kind of stood out when you were able to kind of look at it at film, and is there anything that maybe needed to be better, or what did you kind of pick out from it?
No, I thought he did really well. Just very, very smooth and efficient. We don't ask him to carry the ball a whole lot, but he did some nice job right there on that one third down, I think, scrambling out of the pocket and getting our first down. A couple times we had some in the passing game, had a couple passing routes that weren't run exactly like we wanted them to be, that Zeb kind of ad-libbed and made them right. But I thought he was good for the most part. Did a nice job. Certainly got some of our play action stuff. The one touchdown pass we threw early to Josh Van down there by the cockpit. Would have liked to have gotten a better play fake off that, but for the most part, it wasn't a whole lot to pick apart. He did what he was supposed to do, and was very went the right places with the ball, and thought he played really well.
Just quick follow up on that. I mean, it seemed like he didn't really force anything. It seemed like, did you guys kind of find that too? Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. He managed the game well. We talk about protecting the football, and he certainly did that. He did a nice job. We had that quarterback center exchange where we fumbled down there in the red zone, and he was able to jump right on that and did a nice job with it. So I was very impressed with him, how he handled everything.
Hey, Shane, Dave again. Looking at your defense, first shutout in 13 years, 2 picks, 2 sacks, had a pick 6. What's going to be the encore? Did Clayton get a game ball, anything like that? Just how impressed were you with his unit?
Yeah, we did give him a game ball in the locker room last night. We actually gave game balls to every single person in the program. We said was going to get one just because of their contributions and what we've all done together since January when we came back. But after he got a game ball for that, I also said, I don't care who you're playing. It is hard to hold teams to 0 points in today's college football. And to have some guys out on defense, to be a first-year staff, new defensive coordinator, all that, opening ball game, to have the first shutout here since, I believe, 2008 is what y'all said, and I was an assistant coach here against NC State that night, and for that to be the first shutout, that's pretty impressive. So I was like, you're getting a game ball for that, just for a shutout. Great job, Clayton and his defensive staff, and I don't know what the encore is. Hopefully we continue to create turnovers and score on defense and dominate the line of scrimmage like those guys did last night. And, if we continue to play hard and play fast and play physical, we'll be okay. Probably the thing I was most proud of, there were 2 things, and one is the defense and the staff we went through, and we're always looking for loafs to make sure that our guys don't take off a play, make sure they're playing every play full speed, and we went through every play like we always do and couldn't find a single play where there was a lack of effort. You watch Jalen Foster's interception that got called back because of the penalty, and just watch the tape of how hard the other 10 guys on defense are working to get him to the end zone. It was pretty cool to watch. And then I just love the mentality that after that play, there's all the excitement about what just happened. There's tons of energy in the stands. The players are excited. We have a penalty that was pre-snapped that was unacceptable, and they had to go right back out there on the field. And for them to not come out there with the same mentality and not compete like they did, and instead they came right back out there. Our mantra on defense is put the ball down, and they came right back out there, told Eastern Illinois put the ball down, and stopped them again, which I love to see.
Shane,
hey,
John,
Patrick Johnson again.
Being proud of tackling a couple of times since the game last night. What goes into having a good tackling performance in the first game out? How difficult is that to do?
I think it's a lot because you're not playing against another team. You're not scrimmaging. So now you've got to manage in practice how much you practice or how much you tackle against each other in practice, and you're limited in that by the NCAA. So we do. We had 2 full-speed live tackling scrimmages, and certainly that helped. And then we work it in practice. I mean, we don't do really any live tackling in practice, but you can certainly work tackling drills, and that's what we did during the preseason, and glad it showed. I think I heard Patrick Johnson trying to ask a question. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Thank you, Shane. Could you just, obviously we in Greenville know Virginia Tech Frank Beamer very, very well over the years, and to a degree you as well. But just could you maybe talk a little bit about the relationship with you and your dad now, and how much are you, sort of picking that brain that has just decades of every experience imaginable?
Yeah, I pick his brain a lot. I've been fortunate to be around a lot of great coaches in my career that I've worked for or worked with. I mentioned Lincoln and Ruffin earlier, who I think the world of and are close friends, and pick their brain a lot. And certainly having a Hall of Fame coach for a dad, I pick his brain a lot. I mean, he was down here last night, obviously, for the game, and I know he loved being part of it, and I loved him being part of it for sure. And certainly he's a phone call away, and I think unless he changes his mind, he and my mom are planning on being in Greenville Saturday for the game. I think he thought when he retired that he'd never have to come to Greenville again. Nothing against Greenville, but he knows what a tough place it is to play there at East Carolina, and I think he had enough of those battles over the years as well. I mean, I can remember 2011 at Virginia Tech. We went to the Sugar Bowl that year, played for the ACC championship, had a heck of a team, and came to Greenville that season, and we were lucky to get out of there. I think it was something like 14-10 or 17-13, something like that. And he's had some battles in Greenville going back to the Carless or Crumpler days back in the 80s and all that. So he's got a ton of respect for East Carolina, and so do I, and what that program is about, and the pride and tradition. And yes, absolutely. I love being able to pick my dad's brain on things, whether it be special teams or just, overall program stuff.
Shane, Dave again, talking with Jordan Birch last night after his pick six, and I think someone asked, would you maybe mind running a few plays at tight end? And he said, well, if they ever wanted me to. Is there out of consideration? I mean, we
want to let him do everything. We want to let him do everything he can to be the best defensive player he can be. But who knows? Down the line, something as big and fast and powerful and as explosive as that guy is, I think he could be anything that he wanted to be. He's continuing to work his craft on defense right now, but who knows what the future holds. So. But I appreciate it. Off to work on East Carolina right now, and look forward to seeing you guys on Tuesday at the press conference. Thanks, guys.